So this breath is powerful. It can energize you whenever you want. Perhaps you need a boost in the morning, or you want to use it to clear emotional blocks when you're stuck. It really is like a nervous system reboot. And you have access to it whenever you want, on demand. So I had one woman who did a transformational breathwork session with me that lasted over an hour. And she came out of that, she was trying everything. She was stuck, she didn't know what to do. And at the end of the breathwork session, she noticed a shift. She was quite surprised, in fact. She said, my back pain, it's gone. I didn't even know she had back pain. She said, yeah, I've had chronic back pain for years. Gone. 1 hour of breath work. Another guy was actually a fellow instructor. Did not coach him. He's a fellow coach and trainer. He came through here in Chiang Mai and had a really interesting story about how he came to breathwork going through cancer treatment and chemotherapy. And so one thing that happens when people go through chemotherapy is they lose sensation and feeling in their extremities, like their fingers, right? So he started doing this style of breathwork, and guess what happened? He started getting feeling back in his fingers. Pretty cool, right? And then I worked with another founder who was burned out. He couldn't sleep. He was totally overwhelmed, just had too much going on in his life. Did one of my 1 hour sessions, and it was just a big release for him. He was screaming, he was shouting, he was crying. He just let it all out. So it's not magic, it's just biology. It works when you let it work.
Hi there, welcome to the replay of our after hours discussions with professional coaches. Your exclusive complimentary Sunday session for all of our community around the world, where coaching minds unite with our people to create real world results. I am Adrian Cahill, your host and founder of the Motivate community, and more recently, Monday Morning Motivation. As a global trainer in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, coaching, and hypnosis, this weekly gathering brings some of my colleagues from trainings, my fellow students and coaches all together in one place where we can discuss, share, help change the world by delivering free, quality information that's here to help you transform.
When we were planning Chiang Mai, I looked in Shanghai Digital Nomads. It's a group of expats that are doing cool stuff in Chiang Mai, and I lived there for maybe 9 months. Many years ago, I started coaching there actually, but I didn't find Shanghai to be a good place. Sorry, Chiang Mai, not Shanghai. I didn't find Chiang Mai to be the best for the coaching. But it was largely my own mindset. And it wasn't so much that it wasn't. I started doing some therapy. And it was a bit more therapy. And I didn't know where I was, but I was starting to kind of get some traction there. When I went to Shanghai, I went to Shanghai because we met some Shanghainese people in Chiang Mai. And they're like, come on, you got to come over and check out China. So when I finally got over to China, I went to Shanghai. So we've got a fair few people here from Shanghai. And when I went there, we hooked up with some cool people and kind of got together and made these events. And we'll bring 10, 20 people together. So expats would come together. We'll talk about coaching and therapy or NLP or hypnosis. And if someone had some cool stuff like you, Jason, I'd love to say, hey, come on, get everyone together put on some drinks or water at a cafe and then get you to share a story, share an hour or so and take people through stuff. I think that's such a wonderful experience. So we're not here to really kind of sell tickets to a rock show. Upgrade now, Visa cards. There's nowhere in this our slots is anywhere any product that heavily so except for training in yourself. So it's a great pleasure to have you come and join us and be a part of this little community and allow us to learn more about breath.
Yeah.
So I was going to get Jason to train when we went to Bali. So last year after Bali, we're going to go to Chiang Mai. So we're planning Chiang Mai. And in the research, I stumbled across Jason's work. And it just kind of stood out as being like authentic and real. Now I looked over some of his stuff and I'm like, I thought it was pretty sweet. And maybe it was just me, but it's like, he's figured some stuff out. Like this is fun. This is cool. And he's doing it in a beautiful part of the world with beautiful people. But Jason, with a network like ours and group like ours, I don't know if you have it already, but Harold or some of the guys in Shanghai might get you to share in Shanghai. And I'd love to have active groups in Hong Kong and Singapore and that now, but we've got people in all the different cities. So now I'm going to share over to you. I know your introduction briefly, but I don't want to butcher it, Jace.
So I thank you for the introduction. Nice to meet everybody. So we're going to dive in, and today we're going to talk about your breath, something you do 20,000 times or more per day, and how you can use it as a deliberate tool for better sleep and reliable energy. So as you know, my name's Jason Ryer. I'm the founder of Zen Strength. I coach travelers, entrepreneurs, and high performers to optimize sleep, energy, and resilience using breathwork, cold exposure, and biohacking. So I want you now to start with a quick reset to get present and drop one word in the chat or just note it mentally in your head, how you feel right now, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So go ahead and drop that in the chat. The first word that comes to mind, whatever comes up, and I'm going to try to navigate my way back to Zoom so I can see the chat. All right. So slowing down, excited. Yeah, for me, there's a bit of excitement and nervous energy, if I'm honest. So it's good to see your comments. And we'll come back to this question. And this, what you're sharing now, either in the chat or just keeping it in your mind, that one word, this is your baseline. So remember it, and we'll come back to it later. And as mentioned, this is interactive. So we'll be breathing together, and you'll actually feel a shift today. And you'll do, during this session, 3 things, slightly different than my usual in-person workshops. But you'll do 1, you'll do what's called everyday Zen breathing. 2, you'll do Zen power breath. And 3, you'll feel calm and or energized. Guaranteed. Or you get your money back. How's that sound? You guys ready? So we're going to dive in. Just waiting for the slide to come up. So I'm going to talk about what this is and what this isn't. This is not a passive lecture. It's not just interesting ideas about health. It is interactive. It's experiential. It's designed to shift how you feel today. So you won't just learn something, you'll feel something. And you'll leave with tools you can use anytime to reset your mind and body. Learning to breathe well isn't about memorizing facts. It's about remembering something your body already knows. This is a reset for your body, mind, and energy. So if you're feeling off, a little bit off today, good. You're in the right place. And we'll kick things off with a short 60-second 60 second 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 And for that reset, I'm going to play some music. Hopefully that comes through on your end. I just hit play. So again, once you hear that music, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Well, the music's on. And by the way, this is calming music. It has, so this is a bit of the biohacking geek speak. It has isochronic tones that are entraining the mind and the body to relax, to calm. And this is your everyday Zen breath that we're getting into now. It's simple, it's gentle, it's one of the fastest ways to reset your nervous system. So if you're feeling stressed, anxious, tired, or even wired at night, for me, this is my go-to to get back to balance. And here's how you do it. I like to keep things simple. So simple thing to remember is simply 5. Inhale 5 seconds, exhale 5 seconds, in and out through the nose, and your mouth is closed. These are very light, slow, and efficient breaths. So to drive that point home, if you do put a finger under your nose, as you do these breaths, you should barely feel the air passing in and going out. So I'm going to guide us through this. Shoulders are relaxed, face is nice and soft. Just letting the breath drop into your belly. I'll count for the first few and then we'll do it all together. Inhaling in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now keep that rhythm going on your own, light, slow, efficient breaths for just a few more breaths, so I can do a few with you. And actually, if you want to go deeper into this experience at the risk of actually falling asleep, so if you're prone to falling asleep, you can disregard this. But if you want to go deeper into the experience, you can lay down, you can close your eyes. So that'll actually take us out of that high beta awareness, more into an alpha meditative state. Simply with the breath, closing the eyes and laying down. So gently come back. And on your next breath in, take a nice deep breath in, and then simply let it go. And notice what shifted. Perhaps you feel more space, more calm, a bit more grounded. How do you feel? So drop one word in the chat again, or just name it silently and compare it to your first word from the beginning. This is your reset button, so you can use it anytime, whenever you feel anxious, stressed, tired, depressed, or bed, before or during a big moment. And now I want to transition over to my story. So I'm going to tell you my personal journey of how I went from stuck to reset. The before of what was wrong to the after of what changed. And it starts from the beginning.
Jason, very nice. Can you turn the music down just a little bit?
Yeah. Thank you for letting me know.
That was nice. Yeah, the screen looks great. That's a wonderful journey, man. I think I went into a really nice trance with that. Really nice. And watching the timer go up and down.
Nice.
Yeah, when you spoke, the timing was a little bit off with the timer. When you breathed
right.
out.
Right.
But I find that really hypnotic, and it's so like Harold Darko, was that a trancy for you as well? Is Jason a hypnotist in disguise?
What's that?
Is Jason a hypnotist in disguise? Harold Darko comments?
Yeah, I felt sleepy and started to yawn.
Yeah,
Yes, it's a
it'll
great
tend to do that.
experience.
If a lot of people fall asleep during my breath work, not a lot. Occasionally it happens. And basically it'll just take you to where your body, what you need. So if you need to sleep, you sleep, right? No big
Yeah,
deal.
but in those sessions, the people, I don't know, but when I fall asleep in breath work, and we've got another breath work pro jump on, right? When I fall asleep in breath work, like with yourself or a breath work, I feel my mind goes and does healing or doesn't plans it. It does what it needs to do. It needs whatever it needs to do. It does in your sessions or the breathing sessions.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happens, or go to space. So sorry. Thank you for a great introduction. Cool.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. So that's just to set the stage, bring us into a place of presence in our bodies. And so with that, my story starts back when I was a kid. As you can see here, I said I'm a terrible sleeper. And that started from when I was a kid up until probably in my 40s. I'm 50 now. So it's taken quite a while for me to figure things out. I used to have terrible dreams and nightmares and night terrors as a child. And I would sleepwalk at night. In fact, one story I want to share is I remember waking up to get ready for school in the morning. And one of the first things I would do is go downstairs, prepare my breakfast. And so I'm taking out my frozen waffle, heating it up in the toaster, putting it on the plate, pouring some syrup on it. And I look up on the wall and I see the clock. And guess what time it was? It was like 4 a.m. And so I wasn't just sleepwalking. I was sleep eating. And it got worse. I became terrible snorer, snoring like a freight train to the point where my mom would hear it in the room next door. And that was due to, if we back up, as you see here, dental work. And why did I need dental work? Well, pretty common these days to need some dental work. And that's probably because of generations of poor diet, of processed foods, processed grains. And so what happens is our teeth go a little crooked. We need to not just straighten them out, but in my case, pulled out some teeth, put in the braces, and pushed everything together. And what does that do? It makes the mouth cavity smaller. And what does that do? It makes breathing more challenging, especially with my big tongue. And so that leads to the snoring, that leads to sleep apnea. And it got worse. Just before I turned 40, I was having heart palpitations, like heart attack symptoms. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn. I looked into Dr. Google at the time. Dr. Google said, go see your doctor. I'm like, I don't have a doctor because I thought I was fairly fit and healthy. At least I was active. I was doing a lot of sports, doing mountain biking, snowboarding, volleyball, basketball, bunch of different stuff. But the problem was pretty obvious when I looked around. It was my diet. I was on what I would call a seafood diet. I see it, I eat it, anything and everything. So I decided that needed to change. So I went from my seafood diet, and I didn't know what to do still. I had no idea. I was like, well, I'll try vegetarian, vegan, plant-based, whatever that is, right? So I tried that for 2 years, and it actually helped. It helped clear things up. Heart palpitations started going away. But then after 2 years of doing that, I had some testing done, and I saw that my hormones were a little out of whack. Libido was low, testosterone was low, estrogen was high. And about that same time, I discovered the world of biohacking. And so that was really eye-opening for me in terms of not just diet, but it was basically everything in my environment, including the food I eat, that I could take control over to optimize my health. And so I've been diving down that rabbit hole ever deeper for the past more than 10 years now, going into biohacking And that led me to get certified as a Bulletproof Human Potential Coach, essentially a life coach, and helping other people with their health through the coaching. And then through the biohacking, I learned about breathwork. I was at a conference in Los Angeles in 2015 called the Bulletproof Biohacking Conference. And there was this small Dutch man who got up on stage. His name is Wim Hof. Perhaps you've heard of him. He led us through one round of breathwork, and that really left an impact on me. And over the years, I started doing more and more breathwork. I was actually quite into mindfulness meditation, but the breathwork practice kind of took over. I guess my more logical engineering mind from a software development background kind of kicked in, and I'd actually measure some of these things, my heart rate variability, my state of coherence, and I could get in those states more reliably through breathwork. Not to say that breathwork is better than meditation, it's just a different tool. And it's probably a more practical tool, I see, to get to where you want to go, right? So that's what we're going to talk about now. That's what we're going to practice now. And I've guided over 1,000 plus people, mostly with the breath work and the cold therapy and the heat therapy, and actually doing sleep master classes as well here in Chiang Mai. So that's my story.
There's been questions raised over time about different qualifications, and it's hard for people to tell what qualifications are bigger or smaller or the real deal. But I know the course you did, and the course you did was approved by the ICF as well. It was a pretty big course at Human Potential Coach thing. That was awesome. Was it a good course? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty intense. It took about a year to get the certification. And yeah, if you're curious, I mean, I was quite surprised because I got into it through the world of like biohacking and optimizing health and wellness. And so when they offered the coach certification, me and I think most of the cohort who joined thought we had just become like experts in advising people on health, like what supplements to take, nootropics, blah, blah, blah. But we started the course with 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation. So that's when I started getting deeply into meditation, was with the coach. And that's coaching from a place of presence, right? So that's where it was interesting to see, oh, well, we're actually coaching. We're not advising people on health, right? Yeah.
I just wanted to comment that it was good training, and I'm excited about what you do because I love Bulletproof Coffee and
cool.
Biohacking and hacking, and that is just sometimes there's better ways to get results. And sometimes you can cut a corner. Sometimes you can cut a corner, and there's a cost. You actually cut a corner and get in trouble, kind of thing. But a lot of the times you can actually cut the corners or make them smoother. There are so many great ways we can improve our health that you've learned about. So I also see you're a very proactive learner. Yeah, you choose and you learn about a range of topics.
For sure. Yeah. So it's not just the breath. It's not just the cold exposure. It's not just the sleep, it's a lot of different things. So I'm learning almost every day, listening to podcasts, doing a bit of research here and there. So, yeah.
And HRV, do you use a heart maths?
I do, yeah. I have the M-Wave device. So it just clips to my ear and it gives a nice biofeedback. Maybe you've used it, but
we all know about it. We bring them into some of our trainings and stuff.
Okay, very cool.
You're onto some great stuff. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, this is about getting back to being human. So we're living in constant overdrive with all the tech, the caffeine, the screens, not enough space. And we have to realize your breath is always there. It's free, it's powerful. And most of us barely use it intentionally. And so today it's really about remembering how, using the breath to calm, restore, and energize without another pill, screen, or hack. So with that in mind, the question becomes, why are we still so tired? So let's unpack it now and get to the root cause of the problem. But before we do, just a quick check-in for your posture. If you want to just relax again, uncross your legs, relax your shoulders, let your belly soften. So who here feels like your sleep should or could be better? So I think we already heard that yes from at least one of you. So maybe even though you eat clean, you stay active, maybe even you track your health, but you're not alone. And I see this a lot, waking up groggy, hitting a wall at 3 p.m., or you're wide awake at 3 a.m. with the mind racing and waking up tired even after 8 hours in bed. And here's why. It's not because you're doing it wrong, and you don't need another gadget or supplement. It's your nervous system. That's the problem. It's stuck on. So you never drop into deep recovery. So we're stuck in a loop. So this is what's really going on. We're getting a constant drip of stress with the emails, the deadlines, the bright screens from morning to midnight, and a to-do list that just never ends. So it's stress, but it's not the same stress as if a tiger were chasing you. This is the low grade, all day stress that keeps the system slightly on. And when the system never fully powers down, you don't drop into deep recovery. So your energy never truly resets. So then we start chasing the symptoms and we start reaching for more supplements, more stimulants, more hacks, which might actually help for a little bit. And as Adrian mentioned, yeah, it's fun to get into these biohacking tools and they can really help. But I always like to go back to first principles, foundations, and a nature-first approach to biohacking to get to the root cause. So it's like trying to sleep with one foot on the gas pedal. So that's the loop. And so let's look at what we can do to break that loop. And I'll give you some good news. Your nervous system isn't broken, it's just getting the wrong signals. And your breath is the fastest way to fix that. It's your built-in switch. When you breathe through your mouth, fast and shallow, your body reads stress. So it's a bit like that tiger is chasing you. And when you slow the breath through the nose, low in the belly, your body gets a different message, which is more like, I'm safe, I can relax, I can heal. So you can't easily think your way into calm or energy, but you can breathe your way there. So what actually changes when you start breathing better? The short answer is everything. Sleep gets better, stress is easier to handle, and your energy and your mood, stable. So let's zoom in on what can be measured and studied. One is your carbon dioxide tolerance. This is like your stress thermostat. For better tolerance, you have less panic and smoother breathing under pressure. And then as Adrian mentioned, as you guys are familiar with, HRV is your recovery dial. So the higher your HRV, the faster you bounce back. And then we have vagal tone. This is your brain-body connection, allowing you to drop into more calm more quickly. And these aren't just nice to have, they're actually measurable, repeatable changes. And you don't need a lab, you just need your breath. So we'll take a look a bit deeper under the hood to see what's going on. So two switches drive this, as we mentioned, carbon dioxide and your vagus nerve. And most people think of oxygen as being more important, but it's really carbon dioxide that controls your urge to breathe. So if your carbon dioxide tolerance is low, the body can panic early, your breathing can go short and fast, and then you get stuck in that stress loop. So you build tolerance, you can stay calmer, clearer, and more resilient under pressure. And the vagus nerve is your brain-body superhighway. So that's the nerve that connects the brain and the body, and it sets us up to quickly recover from stress when we activate it in the right way. So slow intentional breathing is one of the fastest ways to improve vagal tone and actually get your system working for you. So now you've seen those switches. Let's look at what changes and when you use them. So let's look at actual results. So what actually happens when you do breath work? A lot of people are chasing dopamine these days. So there was an interesting study that found a 65% increase in dopamine after just 11 minutes of rhythmic breath work. So that Dopamine is your motivation molecule. That's your drive and your get up and go. And next is HRV, your heart rate variability. It goes up, which means your body is better at bouncing back from stress. And it shows up in better sleep, more clarity, and emotional stability. And then you'll also see improved circulation, better oxygen delivery, sharper focus, and yes, even a stronger immune system. Not bad, right? For something you've been doing since the moment you were born. And the crazy part, it doesn't take hours. It doesn't take years of training. You can do this with just 1 minute of intentional breathing to shift your entire state fast. So you already did it one way with Everyday Zen. So if you guys are ready, we'll practice another way. So now we're going to shift gears and do a different breath work. If you guys are up for it, this one is stronger. So it's short, but energizing. It's a reset for your nervous system. And this is called the Zen power breath. So I'm going to shift over to something a bit more energizing for the music. And Adrian or somebody, again, let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. So I just turned up the volume just a little bit on the music. And so this is something to activate your body, to boost dopamine and give your nervous system that full reset. And I've been doing this for years. This is what we do in our workshops. And we'll just do 2 rounds of this. The whole thing will take about 8 minutes. And the general structure is to take about 30 to 40 rhythmic breaths in, circular rhythmic breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then second part of this is a hold. I'll ask you to hold your breath for about 1 to 1.5 minutes. And then you'll do a squeeze. And I'll explain that when you get there. So you don't have to worry about any of this. I'll explain it as you go. All you need to do now is get in a position where you can get fully relaxed. If you prefer laying down, you can lay down. Actually, that's preferable because you can actually lose consciousness while doing this breathing. So if you're in a compromising position, if you're standing, certainly never do this in water, because people have actually died doing this in water. So this is the risk. There's your fair warning. And with that, I'll lead you through it. We'll get started with round number 1. And I'll just explain. I don't know how well you guys can see my video, but I'm just going to point it down a little bit and try to demonstrate what we're going to do here. So this is the rhythm breath. I'm breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And as I breathe in through the nose, I'm filling up the belly first, and then up into the chest, and then simply letting it go. And this is a nice, even circular flow, like a wave, no pausing in between. And so for me, it's breathing in, and just, you can imagine as I breathe in, I'm filling up my lungs like a big balloon, and then letting it go. In and out. In and out. So you're going to do that for about 30 or 40 breaths starting now. So go ahead and practice that now. Keeping in mind, there is no one right way to do breath work. It is a different experience for everybody, every time. So with that, breathe into the belly, up into the chest, and let it go. Belly, chest, all the way up to your head, and release. Belly, chest, all the way up to your head, and release. Fully in, and letting go. Fully in, and letting go. Fully in, and letting go. Into the belly, up into the chest, all the way up to your head, and release. Keep going. Find your own rhythm. Find your own flow. And to go deeper into this, you can close your eyes. Keep going. Nice flow, filling up the lungs like a balloon and simply letting it go. As you do this, you may feel light in the body. You may feel light in the head. You may feel tingling sensations. You may see shapes, patterns, colors, emotions may arise. This is all okay. Keeping in mind, as I said before, there is no one right way to do breath work. It is a different experience for everybody, every time. So with that, I'll guide you through a few more breaths, and we'll move on to the first breath hold. Breathing fully in, belly, chest, all the way up to your head, and release. Belly, chest, all the way up to your head, and release. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Two more. In, out. Last breath in, all the way in, and then release, and then stop, and hold your breath. Holding your breath now for 1 minute. As you hold your breath, shift your awareness to your body. Feel your heart rate slowing down. Body is still. Mind is quiet. You're over halfway there. Keep holding. Five more seconds. 1 minute. Recovery breath in. Breathe all the way in, and then hold at the top. As you hold your breath, squeeze and flex your abs, your lower back, chest, upper back, shoulders, arms, legs, squeezing and flexing all of the muscles in your body. This is the squeeze. And then release. And take a moment to recover. And we'll go right into round number 2. For round number 2, it's the same as round number 1, but to mix things up, some people actually find it easier to breathe more air in through the mouth. So you'll practice that now. Same as before, but except breathing in through the mouth, filling up the belly, up into the chest, and release. Belly, chest, all the way up to your head, and release. Fully in, and letting go. Fully in, and letting go. In, and out. In, and out. Keep going. Once again, finding your own rhythm, finding your own flow. Keeping in mind that you're in full control. If this does become too intense, uncomfortable at any point in time, you can simply change your breath. You can take a break, you can slow it down, and then when you're ready, you can come back to those powerful rhythm breaths, filling up your lungs like a balloon. Big breath in and letting it go. Fully in and letting go. In and out. Breathing in power and letting go. Breathing in strength and letting go. Breathing in energy and letting go. In and letting go with calm. Keep going. Every breath in is energizing. Every exhale is relaxing and calming. So just a few more breaths. I'm going to speed things up. You can follow along. Breathing fully in, belly, chest, all the way up to your head, and release. Fully in, letting go. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Two more. In, out. Last breath in, all the way in. Hold at the top. And then release. And then hold your breath. Holding your breath now for 1 minute and 30 seconds. As you hold your breath, tune into your body from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet. Feel your heart rate slowing down. Body is still. Mind is quiet. "45 seconds, halfway there. Keep holding if you can. Ten more seconds. One minute, 30 seconds. Recovery breath in. Breathe all the way in. Hold at the top. As you hold, squeeze and flex all the muscles in your body. And then release. And relax, taking a moment to recover. And now coming back to your everyday Zen coherent breathing. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, in and out through the nose. Mouth is closed. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going with those everyday Zen coherent breaths. Now focusing your attention and awareness on your hara, on your belly, and then extending that focus and awareness out in all directions, up your body, down your legs, all the way up to the top of your head, to the bottom of the feet, to your hands. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and then slowly open your eyes. And now just taking just as much time as you need, you can come back to our virtual world on the screen. And we can check back in with one simple question. What are you feeling now? And if you want, you can drop a one-word check-in in the chat. So this breath is powerful. It can energize you whenever you want. Perhaps you need a boost in the morning, or you want to use it to clear emotional blocks when you're stuck. It really is like a nervous system reboot. And you have access to it whenever you want on demand. So just before, I want to hear from you guys, but before we do, I just want to share a few quick stories from some of the people I've worked with. These aren't necessarily elite athletes or monks. They're just regular people, perhaps like you, who've tried this work and they felt the shift. So I had one woman who did a transformational breathwork session with me that lasted over an hour. And she came out of that. She was trying everything. She was stuck. She didn't know what to do. And at the end of the breathwork session, she noticed a shift. She was quite surprised, in fact. She said, "My back pain, it's gone." I didn't even know she had back pain. She said, "Yeah, I've had chronic back pain for years. Gone." 1 hour of breathwork. Another guy was actually a fellow instructor. Did not coach him. He's a fellow coach and trainer. He came through here in Chiang Mai and had a really interesting story about how he came to breathwork going through cancer treatment and chemotherapy. And so one thing that happens when people go through chemotherapy is they lose sensation and feeling in their extremities, like their fingers, right? So he started doing this style of breathwork, and guess what happened? He started getting feeling back in his fingers. Pretty cool, right? And then I worked with another founder who was burned out. He couldn't sleep. He was totally overwhelmed, just had too much going on in his life. Did one of my 1 hour sessions, and it was just a big release for him. He was screaming, he was shouting, he was crying. He just let it all out. So it's not magic, it's just biology. It works when you let it work. So this can be life-changing. And for some, it is quite life-changing. So yeah, I want to bring this all together. You've experienced two very powerful breath practices: the everyday Zen to calm and regulate, and the Zen power breath to energize and reset. So hopefully by now you felt the shift. If you didn't, I said full refund. You get your money back. But if you did, you know how it works. And the key now is just doing it and finding some sort of consistency in your practice. Because these are tools we can use anytime, anywhere. You can try it before bed, before a big decision, whenever you feel off, whenever you just want to feel grounded. You don't need any gear, you don't need a nap, you just need your breath. So here's what I recommend is to do the everyday Zen whenever you think about it. After all, this is how we should be breathing pretty much all of the time. It's your nervous system maintenance. It's your balance, it's your homeostasis. And then you can do the Zen power breath, the one you just did, daily, or I'd say at least once a week. And this is your system upgrade. It clears the stress, sparks the energy, does a lot of other things that we can talk about as well. So if you want to see that long-term impact, you can do these things. You can even start tracking your sleep, tracking your energy, even just doing these one-word check-ins and asking yourself, how do I feel? And so over time, this is how you build resilience. It's how you train your body to bounce back faster and to stay calm under pressure. So with that, before I go into this, I want to hear from you guys. With that one simple question again, how do you feel? And you can reflect back to when we started this session, or even earlier, perhaps the course of the day, and how your mood and your energy has shifted.
Well, that's one of the best things about breath work. You know, Jason's got training to do the 1-to-1, so you can deliver breath work and coaching 1-to-1, but with breath work can also deliver it from 1 to 10. You can deliver it for 10 people, or a microphone you can deliver for 100 people, or a track you can download, you can share it with 1,000 people. And the things you can present and do with breath. And Jason, we might even get a bit more advanced or anything, perhaps. I would like to provoke, if you've started using breath work with like lights or sounds or other things. Tell us a bit more about what you do there.
I did that just before this session. I have a light therapy device that has flashing LED lights. Maybe you guys have seen this or heard about it or experienced it yourself, but it's actually, in my experience, one of the quickest ways to get into an alternate state of mind. And by alternate state of mind, what I experience is I immediately see patterns, colors, shapes. So it's like a full-on psychedelic experience instantly. And so what that does is it shifts us very quickly out of that high beta into alpha and then into theta. So more of like so meditative and then more of like a dreamlike state, just like similar to what you'd get from taking psychedelics. But it's a completely sober experience. When it's on, it's on. When it's off, it's off. So,
Jason, what the device is it? The Roxia, perhaps?
Roxy, I've heard of that one. Yeah, I've heard of that one. But the one I have is called the Neurovisor, which is actually built here in Chiang Mai. It's a local company.
Nice.
Yeah, I know the founders. Yeah,
I've been looking into it just a little bit, like different oscillations in the ears and the eyes to create the experience, and then that's cool, man.
This is it. So it just clips on here, and then goes over your head.
Yeah,
like that, and the lights flash, and they're just pretty simple. They're just LEDs, and what happens is the way they flash, our brains interpret that and gives us a brain chemistry response just from those flashing lights.
Yeah,
where we go into this psychedelic state.
Yeah, I've got an app on my phone called Luminate, and it's
that's a good one. Love it.
Oh man, yeah,
Nice.
it's outstanding.
Yeah, it's kind of the intro level with Luminate.
Yeah,
But it works. It's impressive. You can just use an app and point the light on your phone at your face and get some of that experience. Yeah, that's cool, man. Cool.
Very cool. I'm interested in trying to bomb all the senses and then do it in a sensory deprivation tank, just to the water amplifies input. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because the way I think about that is because you have the float tanks, the sensory deprivation, which will take you to those states, or other people do dark rooms as well.
Yeah.
Will take you into these states eventually, but then you have other ways to do it to hack it. So I'd say these are more the biohacks with the technology version of this.
Yeah.
Or just using our breath. When I do that can get me there if I do that for 15 minutes, I start releasing DMT. If I hold my breath, I release more DMT. And so I can get in those psychedelic states without any tools and very, very quickly. Yeah.
Nice. How intentional are you when you go into state? Like, can you go over the same geography that you were in last time?
No, it's different every time. It's different every time. I mean, and really what got me into this was, it was a Breath Masters training program. So there's a guy who used to be in Bali. I heard he's now in Russia, American guy, Brian Kelly. He's the guy behind this whole transformational breathwork. And now he's branding it as 9D, as in 9-dimensional breathwork.
Yeah, I've seen
And
it.
I did one of his sessions just in the comfort of my own room, laying down in bed. And I just had, in the middle of it, just tears coming down. And it was such a breakthrough for me. I signed up and got the certification through his program. Yeah. And so that's the stories I shared. That's the transformational breathwork that I offer when I do one-on-one sessions with people.
Yeah.
All right. So wrapping things up here. If this made a difference for you, even in a small way, just imagine what a consistent practice could unlock. And so one thing I'm offering for you guys to keep that momentum going is a short, free guided session, a 10-minute energy boost. It's a recorded audio session, similar to what you just did. And it's really designed to start your day calm, clear, and focused. So you can get that at my website, jasonryer.com. And then if you're curious about going deeper, optimizing your sleep, your energy, recovery, I do offer one-on-one coaching and free discovery calls. So in those, we look at your breath, your sleep habits, your patterns, and we can dial in a plan, a simple plan that fits into your life. So if that sounds helpful for you, you can book a call with me at my website, jasonryer.com/call. And that's totally free. It's just a space to explore what's possible for your health and your energy.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live, free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.